Okay, we're now streaming again. And this is great because I am not working for the next 4 days. I do online English classes for about 2 hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so I have a bit of time to tweak. And it's gotten quite complicated in so much as I've had to write a to-do list for myself. So this is it. I have now got 4 active Elassomorph paintings at different stages of completion, and I wish to get on with it. And so I've been granted the ability to do so, and so I'm going to. And since I've got no housework or no gardening to do, I'm going to try and spend more time doing this than anything else. Okay. So I had a picture of a bird of paradise flower. That I'm going to use to inform my next steps. So here we go. Okay. I noticed that there are 2 prongs. There is this one and this one, and there's a crest of orange. And so on my reference photo, the smaller crest is a delightful blue. And so what I'd like to do is make a delightful blue. Let's see. Let's try that. Yep, that's quite nice. But because I'm working in oils, I have to observe the fat over lean rule. And so, looking for my linseed oil. There. I can make my mix. And fatten it up with the linseed oil and less of my water, I think. So here goes. This painting here is now a combination of observation and fantasy. So I think I have the chance here to combine both this time round. Okay. That's okay. I think I want a little bit more. More oil. less of the water. And here goes. Okay. And that widens out that way towards the stem of the plant. Which is fine. And then narrows back the way towards the tip. For me, that will work with some little blending. I can bring it down. It's an area that wants to blend there. That's quite nice. So that area isn't completely dry, and so some blending is possible. So now on my reference photo I can see a little detail here, a little dark detail, which I'm just going to copy and blend that out and down a fraction. Okay. Now there's lots of purples and lilacs going on. So if I introduce some red into my blue mix, darken that a fraction, I can get some other colours to transition in. So around about here, there's a lilac detail, but mine is slightly more duller pink. But I'm just going to play with the form and be inspired by the plant rather than make an actual copy. So there we have a nice lilac. And there is some orange, a kind of soft orange coming in. So I'll borrow from my red into my cadmium yellow and see that the orange is towards the peak here. That needs to be more juicy, a little bit more liquid. There we go. And I'm just looking for something a little bit more subtle. I don't want to overwhelm my painting. So that's a fairly subtle orange, which needs a little bit of spice in the form of a yellowing ridge. Introduced about there, that's fine. Okay, I can live with that. That's fine. And there's some delightfully pale blues. but my palette's getting really quite messy at the moment. So. Oh yeah, but it still works. So while that tends towards grey, that's okay. And then a redder version of that coming down here. And a small transition area between both. Okay, that's fine. Quite a lot of yellow ochre. Which we saw sometimes, depending on the company the colour keeps, has a kind of warm orangey bias that you can see on the branch. So I'm going to mix up this quite bright orange and again introduce a little bit of linseed oil into it, just a tiny little drop. And so with a lot more yellow. Mix. We have several widening teardrop patterns. So narrow, press, and release. Narrow, press more, and release. Again, this one. Narrow, press more, and release. Now, I can see that the bellies need a little widening. So what I'm going to do is revisit that area there. Revisit the belly on the opposite side. Revisit the belly here. So the orange and blue get a chance to enjoy each other's company. And it's such a good orange. I think I would like a little bit more for here. Press and release quickly. There. And a little bit of blending. Okay, can I get away with a little bit more on this one? Maybe if I introduce it into the guitar, headstock, lightly, then press and release out, we can get some nice transitioning there. And on my example, that orange works really, really nice against the headstock. There are 5, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these yellowing ones. So a little bit more yellow ochre to dull this one down a tad. And I will go there, I think. And bring that in, press in, and then release. It needs a little bit more of a tip, but I think that's it. Okay, the orange is just so delicious. I'm going to introduce some to the daffodils over here. And that, I think that's okay. So that's it for the bird of paradise. I could spend, I think, a lot more time fussing over that. Fussing over the contrast between the palette and the orange. I suppose I could bring in a tad more red to make it pop out. So let's just try to do this way to help me reach. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So a lot more red there. Should create a little bit more of a separation between what's in the foreground and what's in the back. But also, oh my goodness, the syrupy juiciness of the paint is lovely to work with. Okay, so I'm getting excited about the quality of my paint. For those who may just be picking this video at random, these are Winsor & Newton artisan oil paints. And it's just occurred to me that some of these colours might be a nice addition. In the dark here, a little bit of orange. Tiny little details. Okay. I will need to spend more time on this particular area of the bird. And certainly with a lot stronger colours. So I'm now curious as to how the orange sits with the green. For detailing. Not sure. I have, however, painted the bird of paradise, and so I'm quite happy. That's job number 1 done. Next job is the leaves. Now, I had a little experiment there. And I'm not so sure that's where I want to go with that. So Okay. I know that I did want to outline some in white. And give others stripes on the inside. So I'm just going to try pure white with a drop of linseed oil. So this is neat. I really must get myself a dropper and a little bit of water and a lot of mixing. And just out of curiosity, how does the new white sit? At some point I might want to put a sheen on the eyeball. So I think what I need to do is give it a kind of purple glaze around the highlighted areas. So I think some of the leaves need to be outlined in white. But not all of them. So this gets a little bit lost here. So I'm going to outline this leaf here, white. I'm noticing already a little bit of sinking going on, because with all that oil it's become transparent, slightly more transparent. So there we go. Now I'm kind of losing confidence as to which leaves should have this detail. And which one should have a slightly different detail, like for instance lightning stripes that go up through the center. As a point of difference to the other leaves. So this one here now feels like it should be outlined. And this one feels like it should have the central stripes. Oh. So this one here could be a central stripe one. Again, I'm trying to move my hand to drag the brush across rather than operating the fingers. It's really a matter of moving the hand. Now I want to create a difference between these leaf forms, and in the absence of decent research, I'm just going to arbitrarily make a kind of ribbing on these ones. Make a central rib. Because I do like that kind of orangey colour against the green, but with a little bit more yellow ochre in it to dull it down a tad. Okay. Now sometimes these things have, I saw a little design which was a kind of ripple design. But my paint needs to be more mobile than that. So yeah, there is a reasonable amount of oil content in my mix now. So yeah, kind of oak leaf thing is what I saw in the artworks of Rousseau, and so I'm going to try and put some of those in, kind of oak leaf detailing. So a bit more oak leaf in there, and down this one. But I have identified a weakness in my own practice in that I really don't know my flowers and foliage very well. So this is a very dark olive and umber mix, raw umber mix. So now what I think I want to do is put a little dark ridge in between my lights. and that will add variety to the design. I'm hoping. And a little bit more visual interest. Like here. Here. And then this one. But I think I need to study variegated leaf design. But in the meantime, in the absence of anything else, this is my painting, and I can have it whatever way I want. Okay, I think I might just have a single central line down these slightly different leaf forms. And now I feel the painting is slightly more exotic and tropical. There we go. A little bit of sinking there, so I want to pull that out a bit more. But yes, this is an area for development, is learning about leaf forms and being able to play with them, incorporating them into the next paintings. But I am getting more interested in the paintings of Rousseau, and I am actually thinking of either painting in the style of Rousseau for the next project next month, or painting a copy. So those are done, and I've got the leaf forms to do on these two smaller. So I made a note on my to-do list. I have the leaves of two other plants to do. So I've already had an attempt at making these slightly more interesting. But these are a lot smaller paintings, so I might do slightly less. Let's see, you can see this one quite well. Okay, so a single central seems doable. Wider at the base, and lifting my hand up away from the paper. But as you paint away from yourself like this, your hand does tend to lift a little bit as you extend away. So press a little bit more, and then gently release the pressure and thin out the line. Okay, that's fine. Loading up the brush again. pressing quite firm to start off with, and then this is actually using the fingers a little bit more to try and control that stroke. And I feel these will all be the same plant. So press firmly, moving the hand, and just lifting the hand up away from the table to take pressure off the brush, and that creates a smaller and smaller line. So I like that in that one. I see no reason not to try and copy it in this one. Again, pressing firmly for a thicker line, but then slowly lifting the hand away up from the table towards the camera direction. So now they have a family resemblance to the tadpoles. So I was thinking about these paintings being sort of daydreams, and the fact that there's so many rivers inside them or things flowing from them. And it made me wonder that these rivers are, in some sense, a stream of consciousness. As a pun. Which seems to work as an idea. A lot of artists use puns, deliberately so, as inspiration for their work. If you look at Damien Hirst, Mother and Calf Divided, that's nothing more than an expensive and elaborate pun. So now some more work here. I think it's maybe time to purchase more brushes. Because I'm losing the tip on these brushes. There we go. Sort of live streaming. Will I do it later?
Can you?
I can.
We've got 10 minutes.
No, I was thinking of live streaming for quite some time.
Okay.
So once I've finished live streaming, do the work that you're indicating to me. Please.